the movie preview critic, informing and entertaining your movie world.
December 14th is almost here, and we all know what that means. Alvin and the Chipmunks, the live-action movie, finally hits the big screen. So let's take a moment to review the previews and available evidence to determine if it's just another bastardization of childhood memories designed to capitalize on the recent 80s nostalgia craze, or if it's a genuine attempt to reinvent our favorite lovable furball musically gifted version of the Three Stooges. Let's start by saying this is really the second time the Chipmunks are making a comeback, or being reimagined, if you will. If you do your research, you'll find that the Chipmunks were created in 1958 by Ross Bagdasarian Sr., who also did all the voices. In 1959, he released the Chipmunk Christmas song, also known as Christmas Don't Be Late, and actually went on to win 3 Grammys. Yes, I'm serious. 3 real Grammys. In reality, not in an episode of the cartoon show. And because it was pretty popular, the Alvin show was created in 1961, but for some reason only lasted 1 season. I guess Chipmunk Mania was over and pretty much forgotten about until 1983, when Alvin and the Chipmunks hit the Saturday morning airwaves and stayed there for 8 seasons. Then, in the 90s, there were some direct-to-video movies, like Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet This Monster, and Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet That Monster, pretty much ripping off Abbott and Costello. And then the new millennium began, and they waited for their time to come, for that 20-year cycle to start again. And in 2007, 20 years after their last big-screen movie, The Chipmunk Adventure, just like Halley's Comet, they return on schedule in this live-action movie. But why now? Well, because just like comic book adaptations and horror movie remakes have been hot, so too is turning Saturday morning cartoons into live-action movies gaining momentum in Hollywood. Garfield 1 and 2, Transformers, Underdog, now Alvin and the Chipmunks, and in 2008, Speed Racer and Dragon Ball Z. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with adapting a cartoon into flesh and blood reality, as long as it's done with care. The problem is that most of the time, adaptations like this are nothing more than opportunities to cash in on a fad. Remember the He-Man movie from 1987, Masters of the Universe? How about the adaptation of the popular trading card series known as the Garbage Pail Kids, which was actually a satire of a previous fad known as the Cabbage Patch Kids? So making money because the time is right is nothing new in the movie business. What is new, or what would be new, is if these fad-created movies were actually good. So let's take a look at who's responsible for creating this one. It's directed by Tim Hill, who has a background in puppet CGI animal movies, having done Muppets from Space and Garfield Tale of Two Kitties. Okay, so he's not Brad Bird or Robert Zemeckis, but at least he is in familiar territory, making a movie targeted at a younger audience. Even though if you look at the marketing for this movie, it's sending mixed messages. Let's take a moment to examine this. Starting with the posters. This one's tagline is, "Here comes trouble." Why? Because they're dressed all hip-hoppy? So what does that mean? Anyone dressed like this causes trouble? Seems like a perpetuation of stereotypes, doesn't it? And does that mean the Chipmunks are going to be all rough and tough and acting all NWA gangsta in the movie? What about this poster's tagline? "The original entourage." Really? Has the ad agency that dreamed up this poster actually ever seen the show Entourage? It's about a movie star, his 2 friends, and half-brother trying to every hot girl they see in Hollywood. Is that what the Chipmunks were all about back in the day? And if they're mentioning Entourage as a tagline, does that mean the target audience are 18 to 35-year-olds? Or are 10-year-olds watching Turtles score some Mary Jane for the boys, and Kevin Dillon a girl in a teddy bear suit? If that's the case, get the cement mixer ready, 'cause the foundations of our society are crumbling. And what about the teaser trailer's opening narration? Defined a generation, Woodstock, the Beatles invasion footage. 8 to 12-year-olds have no clue what any of this means, so this must be aimed at Generation Xers. This brings up warning sign number 39. The movie's marketing is f***ed up. It's not sending a clear message to the audience of what to expect. Returning to the topic of the filmmakers, if there's any reason to be excited about this movie, it's because it's written by John Vitti, best known for his outstanding work on The Simpsons, with episodes like Bart's Dog Gets an F, Bart the Genius, and one of the all-time classics, Mr. Plow. He's also worked on The Critic, King of the Hill, and Saturday Night Live. So the script should be pretty great, right? It could be, if he was the only writer. Joining him as a credited scribe is Will McRobb, perfectly named because he wrote Snow Day, which McRobbed me of 2 hours of my life. All I have to say is that it starred Chevy Chase and revolved around kids stealing a plow so they could have the day off of school. And there's even a third writer on this movie, Chris Viscardi, who also helped McRobb write Snow Day. So who knows how much of John Vitti's material is left? Which brings up another warning sign, number 40. More than 2 writers on a script equals story shit. Mainly because having more than 2 visions for a movie can create a story with a personality disorder. It's like 2 architects trying to build the same house. Each has their own idea of what it should be. Then there's the cast. Let's just say, right now, why does there even need to be voiceover talent? You can't tell who it is anyways, because of the sped up voices. Let's play a little game and see if you can tell which actor is doing the voice.
Meet Alvin.
Oh, that sounds just like Justin Long. Of course.
Simon.
Who's that?
A housekeeper.
Sounds like Matthew Gray Goobler. Who the f*** is that?
And Theodore.
I had a nightmare. Can I sleep with you?
That must be Jesse McCartney. Just for and giggles, I'm gonna try to do the voices too.
Hey, look at me, I'm Alvin. Someone please tell Dave to stop yelling at me. Yeah, and now I'm Simon. I'm the smart, nerdy chipmunk. And hey, I'm Theodore now. And it doesn't matter who does the voices because we all sound the same.
As you can see, there's a lot to talk about. So let's take a break and continue this review in part 2.